Creating, Learning, Connecting. My journey to digital literacy. As you can see here, my journey with technology goes in reverse order. At my point of highest technology use, middle school, I was an addict. If my phone died while I was away from home, I immediately left to charge it. I was on MySpace and YouTube all day. But now, I have become a moderate technology user, only using my phone and computer when I need a break from social interaction or for schoolwork. I still love technology and recognize the endless ways it benefits us, but now I try to spend more time participating in life. For example, when I was younger, I declined opportunities to go out with friends in favor of staying at home online, but now I prefer to have human interaction and go out and experience life fully. In short, I have learned to use technology more sparingly. Defining technology. Technology is a tool that facilitates productivity, shares knowledge, and improves quality of life. This is the definition that we came up with collectively in class. While technology does not only refer to the digital world, pencils, fire, and the wheel were all groundbreaking technology at one point. For the purposes of this project, I will be referring to digital technology. What is digital literacy? According to Cornell University, digital literacy is the ability to find, evaluate, utilize, share, and create content using information technologies and the internet. The beginning. Entertainment. Since I was born into technology, it has always been an integral part of my life. As a child, I primarily used technology as a form of entertainment. My Pokemon VHS tapes, original Game Boy, and Tamagotchi Virtual Pet were technologies I utilized on a daily basis. I also used technology as means of bonding with friends and family. I loved playing PlayStation with my dad and older brother, and my best friend and I regularly traded items on our Tamagotchis. I played race car games on my Game Boy to occupy my time on long car rides. The middle. Expression. The middle period of my technological journey, from 2006 to 2008, was unfortunately riddled with raging hormones, anger, depression, and self-hatred. My sister introduced me to MySpace in 2006, and I immediately began using it as a creative outlet. I loved the freedom of being able to design my whole page, i.e., to make it as edgy and introspective as I wanted. Little did I know, I was using HTML coding to do these things. I frequently posted blogs attempting to explain living with depression, which of course just came across as whiny. I figured that since no one at home would listen to me, perhaps an online audience would. Although my first attempts at confessional writing were sloppy at best, I adopted this style of writing as my own, which may not have happened without MySpace. It was also through MySpace that I learned about an organization called To Write Love on Her Arms that helps people struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, and thoughts of suicide. To Write Love on Her Arms connected me to an online therapist that I corresponded with daily via email, similar to the current app, Talkspace, which is fairly new. This therapist ended up being my only proverbial shoulder to cry on, until I started seeing a therapist in person a little later. So as you can see, all of my online platforms are interconnected. I would not have discovered one without the other. The present. Learning and connecting. Thankfully, now my interactions with technology are much more positive. While I have adopted the aforementioned confessional style of writing as my own, I now use it primarily to create a conversation, as Lisa Adams urges us to do in Chapter 1 of Seeing Ourselves Through Technology. Adams' story in our text reassured me that the things we often deem too personal for the internet are the things that we are in dire need of discussing. So, now my ultimate goal is to use technology as my platform to share my story of overcoming depression, eating disorders, self-injury, sexual violence, and attempted suicide. I also use social media such as Facebook and YouTube to connect with people all over the globe and learn about an array of topics. Technology in the classroom. My schools have all been pretty open to integrating technology into education. In high school, I was introduced to scholarly databases like EBSCO. In art school, my library had both a Mac and a PC lab available for research, visual art projects, and social media use. In community college, I had my first encounter with things like Canvas, Wiley+, and Blackboard. Finally, at USM, I have used technology in a different way than I ever thought I'd be able to. I made my very first website, my first collaborative document, and my first YouTube video. I also refreshed my memory on the basics of HTML coding. I have not only learned skills useful for my academic endeavors, but for job seeking as well. Technology and concentration. In Chapter 3 of our textbook, How We Think, Hales poses the idea that screen reading has rendered us unable to focus while reading print. The chapter says that we now read less print and read print less well, and I am inclined to agree. Perhaps my biggest setback as a technology user is now being unable to read through an entire chapter of an anthology without stopping to check Facebook or watch a YouTube video. While the endless information at our disposal is certainly liberating, I have discovered that it can be detrimental to our concentration as well. However, technology can also aid in reading comprehension, as we learned in class by making these word clouds. Technology can help us take a work of writing and pick out the most important parts in order to gain an understanding of the piece as a whole. Conclusion. While we may not think of Tamagotchi use as digital literacy, things like that are a stepping stone to smartphones and the internet. My technological journey is a messy one, but I have learned the priceless skills along the way. I have traded technological dependence for technological moderation.